is Coach Dawn, CEO and founder of Reid Ready Life Coaching. Thank you so much for coming to my channel to watch my videos. Please make sure you subscribe, like, share. Also, click that little button, the little bell in the, I think it's the right corner, so that you can get notifications when I upload new videos. So, what I want to talk to you today about is asking powerful questions in coaching. And I'm actually going to kind of change that a little bit. One of the things I learned in my coach training program. So Reid Ready Life Coaching has Reid Ready Training, coach training. And when I first developed my program, it definitely models the ICF's core competencies and expectations on developing coaching skills. And one of those core competencies is, asking powerful questions. What I discovered from my students in my program was that when they learned about the part of asking powerful questions, it terrified them because they always questioned themselves when we did our practice coaching or when we did coach to coach. They was like, well, was that powerful enough? Or they felt like it wasn't powerful, and they were always looking for that powerful question. And so I had to change that concept. So instead of saying powerful questions, I started explaining it as a curious question. Because at the end of the day, the questions you ask one client is going to be different for another client. So it's more about asking curious, meaningful questions for that client in that coaching session. Your questions are going to differ because your questions are based upon what your clients are saying to you, what they're sharing with you. And so when you ask a question based upon what you're listening to about your client, what your client wants, what their agenda is, how they want to go about achieving it, you're going to ask questions that make your clients think deeply. Have your clients reflecting, help your clients make mind shifts and change behaviors, thoughts, create learning opportunities. So when we say asking meaningful, curious questions, we're talking about a question that get your clients to go, I want to do something different. I didn't realize that. Getting them to learn something. It doesn't have to be bells and whistles and horns and singing. The sky and the sea will not part. It doesn't have to mean that. You can ask a question as much as, well, what would that look like to you? That can be a powerful question or a curious, meaningful question for your client. You can ask your client something like, how so? What's your narrative? Where did that come from? What do you want to do about it? Who is that coming from? Where is that coming from? And it seems very mundane and simple when you hear the questions without the context of the client's conversation, doesn't it? You're in your head, how is that possible? Just asking, what does that look like? We hear that every day, right? In some kind of form, what does that look like to you? How do you feel about that? Or what's going on with that? Like, that's really like, don't seem like anything on the surface. But put that in context with if your client is saying, I don't think I can do that. Well, where did that come from? Now you got to get your client thinking, hell, where did that come from? Why am I thinking that? Right? Or if your client is like, I don't have any resources to help me get to the next level. And you asking, well, what would a resource look like? What resource do you think you should have? What resource do you think you want? That becomes a meaningful, curious question for your client because now it starts to make them think, well, what resources do I really feel I need? Well, is there a way for me to tap into resources? What would this really do for me? You know, what do I really want to achieve through getting a resource? Like, you'll get the client thinking and asking their own questions to get them where they want to be. So it's not about it being powerful, in a sense that the client is going to uh, have this huge aha moment immediately, but it's more about the subtleties. It's more about that question helping your client learn something different and new about themselves that they didn't realize before. That's what makes it powerful. It's curious because the question is triggered by what you're listening to, what your client is sharing, and it relates to your client's agenda. It's meaningful because it's personal to the client. That is what we want to do. That is the skill that we want to develop. It doesn't mean that you're not a great coach or your questions got to be so boom, you know what I mean? Every time you ask it. No, it's really in that flow of the relationship. It's really that connection. It's really your curiosity of wanting to know more about your client and how you can help them help themselves. All right, everybody. I hope that was beneficial in your quest to develop more meaningful questions and what it really does mean as a coach when you ask questions and inquire about your client's desire and greatness in achieving what they need to achieve to be the best person that they want to be, or helping them optimize their resources and maximize on their abilities and their strengths. And so the next time you're asking questions, think of it in that light. Think of it as, that is the key of helping you ask those meaningful questions. All right, everybody. Go out there and create awesome sauce for yourself